Mark, good morning. You're all set? Sunday, fun day.
Yes, we're ready.
Underway, yes, let's get her going.
Quick nuggets
Let's
too.
get that butts underway.
Okay, we're ready.
Nice. To get started today, we're gonna come to the front parts of our mats. We're gonna take our feet about hip width apart, and we're gonna take our heels and turn them out slightly so the toes are angling towards the center line. I'd like you to bring some straightness to the leg. And as you do so, I'd like you to pull in that belly of yours as you also elongate through the spine. Let's turn the palms to face backwards. And once you've kind of got the fingers spread widely, have your thumbs just gently touch upon your thighs. Now, while we keep those legs straight, almost locked out, if you will, I'd like you to trace your thumb tips up the body as you pull your shoulders up to your ears. Now that we've elevated the shoulder carriage, I'd like to keep the arms nice and straight and spiral open the palms to face forward. And when they're in that forward position, I'd like you to draw the elbows backwards. So that recruitment of muscle up through the upper back and across the shoulder blades, I want you to keep that as best you can. Now, we're going to draw the fingers, baby fingers, onto the hips with the fingers still spread, and then draw the hips backwards to start our warming process. And we're going to oscillate up and down with hips pulling back and legs keeping straight. So we're in essence just chopping through the hips. And we're not letting the shoulder position degrade. We're not letting ourselves rotate internally as we make the movement happen through our hips. Going to keep those muscles active through across the top of the back. And we're going to enjoy this for a couple more repetitions. Finally, rising up, relaxing all that, shaking out. Now turning our toes to aim straight forward. We're going to bring our hands on the hips and we're going to draw the elbows together in the back part of our body. Now I'm going to step my thumbs back as far back as I can get them to create more opening through the chest. And as we do that, I'm going to take a little pelvic tucking. And what I mean by that is simply grabbing the pubis and pulling it up and in towards the front part of our body, that navel of ours. So we have a nice elongation through the spine. Imagine now you've got a string tied to the top of the head. Pull it to the sky. And now with this, we're going to do the same thing, chopping through the hips, maintaining our shoulder integrity as we fold. And we're going to explore a little more range of motion, if it's accessible now. See if you can go. And the premise of going a little deeper into these folds is based upon, it's predicated by the engagement of that upper back, across the shoulders. And let's do a couple more reps. In other words, I don't want you folding in or rounding through the shoulders as we make these repetitions happen. All right, rise back up, relax the arms, shake them out, draw the shoulders up to the ears, open the palms once again to face forward, put a little bend in the elbows, draw them slightly back so they're slightly posterior, kind of right back where your spinal column is. We're going to hold on this as we once again change our feet position so that the toes angle outwards. As we snap the knees together, we're going to begin to fold down and rise up. And if the range of motion is different between our different feet positions, that's fine. What's most important in these repetitions is the spinal length and shoulder blade and back muscle recruitment. So we'll do a couple more reps. And then as we stand tall, we're going to shake that out, bring the feet hip width apart. Now we're going to get a little more flow going on as we salute the sun, separate the hands, open the palms straight forward, fingers pull everything to the sky, fill the lungs with air, exhale, fold it down. Inhale, extend to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, extend. Exhale, fold. Do that one more time. Hold the fold, bend the knees, tabletop the back. So spinal elongation, back of head and the back best version of running parallel to the ground with knees bent. Push the legs straight and bend them. So we're kind of elevating the hips with the legs straight, but we're keeping the back in nice alignment, nice length, feeling that little pull through the hammies. Enjoy it. See if you can increase the range of motion. How low can you go and how high you can go. And be mindful, we are still warming, so let's not push right now. Just experiment, right? See if there's a little more range one way or the other. Let's do this a couple more times. All right, now hold it in the down position. Step your hands up and onto the thighs. Make sure that spine's nice and long. So we have a huge internal rotation of the upper body. We have a deep or shallow, angle through the hips. With the chest proud now, like get it proud out of the chest. Pull that imaginary string on the top of the head, make it nice and long. Hold on this as we extend the arms forward and drift the hips backwards. Give me a pronounced weight bearing most to the heel of the foot, each foot, of course. Fingers are wide. Now, raise and lower the arms slightly. And then stand tall and salute the sun. Well, this warming up stuff is actual hard work sometimes. Big inhale, powerful exhale. Fold it all the way down. When hands arrive upon the floor, step your feet back into plank. Now, draw your hips up and back to down dog and drift it back to plank. We're just going to make this movement happen slowly. We're going to add nuances in here. We need to pull the hips up and back, push up to the tippy toes. Drive the heels to the floor as you fold forward, as you float forward. So up and back, tippy toes. Heels drive earth back to plank. And let's do this a couple more times. It's like this sugar is slippery.
Yeah.
All right, let's come back to plank and then drop down onto all fours. Of course, Sean wipes out. Now, I'm gonna bring my knees a little hip width apart, hands wider than shoulder width apart. I'm gonna rotate the fingers internally, and we're going to move up and down through our arms. So keep that spine and neck long and let the torso descend in between the arms. And push back through and lower back down. And do this a couple more times, nice and slow, nice and slowly. Using proper grammar. All right, now hold up, open the fingers all the way up. So your heels, for my case, are on my mat, my fingers are off. And once again, I'm going to basically raise and lower an elongated torso and long neck up and down between the arms, making sure my elbows aren't facilitating some of the movement by bending. I'm going to keep them straight. And I'm going to hold the down position and then step our fingers straight forward. Nice. Now, make a curve in the back. Give me some flexion. And then with that flexion, let's drift the hips backwards towards the heels. And then slowly come back forward and reverse. So it's kind of like a modified cat and cow. We're going to hold this for 1 second. And then give me the spinal flexion and then the hip descension. So we're going to descend towards the heels, hold for a couple of breaths, enjoy that nice pulling tension, if you will. And it's good tension in the low back. And then drift forward and then reverse. So we're going into our cow-like position. Back of head, tail going to flip to the sky, pulling high to the sky. Now hold on this and pull your belly up and into the spine. To that nice tension. Now, keep that muscle recruitment as we create spinal flexion. And I'm really engaged. And now drift back the hips as they lower towards the heels. I'm going to hold in this spot for a couple breaths. And then come back and make your spine neutral. Elevate your knees up off the earth. Pull your hips up and back to down dog. Drive the heels to the earth. Hold for a couple breaths.
Walk your hands back towards your feet and remain folded. Let's find the balance in the foot. Rock forward and back. Register the weight where it shows up in the feet. And balance the weight between the front and back part of your foot. Once you've found that, as you get there, straighten out the knees. As you inhale, keep the knees straight, extend the spine. See if you can kind of create a little bit of tabletop situation with the back itself and the back of the head. Now, float the fingertips up off the earth and pull the shoulders towards the sky. So the back of the shoulders pulling high. Now, check back in with those feet of yours and see if you still maintain balance front to back of foot in the weight bearing. Bring the fingertips back down, keep the spine in extension. As you release your next breath, let the upper body fold into the legs. Take a couple breaths here. I'm going to bring hand to opposite elbow just to hang out. As I hang out here, I'm going to also work to straighten out my legs again. Feel that nice tension and pull, which is really a stretch, of course, to those hammies of ours. As we return our fingertips to the earth, I'm going to walk them forward and keep my legs straight as I pull my hips backwards. So I feel that nice pull through the lats, the side bodies of our body, getting nice and long as we inhale. Crowd out the chests. As we exhale, fold the body down. Hand to opposite elbow. Fingertips return to the earth, start walking, pull back the hips, a lot of weight bearing felt mostly in the heel, of course, right? Just a question, just making sure. Spinal extension, chest proud. Big inhale, exhale, fold and relax. Hand to opposite elbow. Keep hand on opposite elbow as we come up Pilates style. Stacking vertebrae upon vertebrae as the upper body rises up and elbows rise up shoulder height. So if you ever watch I Dream of Jeannie, we're kind of right there, right? All right, nice. 1970s, we're heading back there. All right, so we're gonna keep our elbows up nice and high. Gonna sweep the elbows back, keeping the bend in them so we have a 90-degree bend. And we have that nice elevation, elbow, arm, if you will, shoulder height. Now with the bend in the elbow, we're just going to start flapping down. So try to keep that 90-degree bend. Not a super importance, it's just, looks good, I think. Okay. Now, when we hold down this time, we're going to open up with the bend in the elbow. So the forearms kind of sweep back and then they come back together. Position straight forward, elbows rise up, and arms lower, open. And we're going to continue this movement pattern for a few more repetitions. Now see the purpose of holding the 90-degree. Holding up this time, we're going to push the arms forward. Oh, I know. Shouldn't be a problem. What's going on over there? What? Now, palms are facing forward. Yeah, we're having a little marital thing going on here. We're going to rotate, basically corkscrew the hands inwardly and outwardly. Few repetitions as we mobilize that shoulder joint of ours, keeping the arms nice and straight. And then holding up, serving up. We're going to bring the forearms together. We're going to draw back the elbows. We're going to trace the rib cage. We're going to pull all the way through and crowd out the chest. Nice. Now we're going to hold on this as we squeeze the elbows together and back. I'd like you to grow the neck towards the left side. Come back center. Grow the neck towards the right side. And oscillate from side to side. And that nice slow movement. Explore the range. Try to make sure your shoulders aren't trying to assist by coming closer to the ears. And then coming back straight, chin drops into the chest, Elbows pull back a little more if you've got that range, and as you inhale, crowd out the chest and start serving out the arms. Baby fingers, forearms come together, palms are skyward, fingers are wide apart, except for our little baby fingers that are having a little conversation. We're gonna hold on this as we pull back the hips. Now, as we hold back, I'd like you to take your thumbs and spiral them externally towards the earth. Take a big breath in, and as you exhale, hands come over heart and stand tall. Palms push together. We're going to rotate the fingers internally. As we elevate elbows up, we're going to find our own little height forward. We're going to take our neck and long one side, come back center, make it long the other side, and keep going side to side. Feel like this is a nice stretch. Now come back center, and now this is going to do some head rotation. Rotating right, center, and left. Side to side, slowly. And then relaxing with hands coming back over heart. We're going to fold halfway forward. We're going to have a tabletop back situation going on here. Legs are straight. We have the ball of each big toe making a push into our mats. And as we do so, I'd like you to imagine your spine's growing long and your head has an imaginary string pulling it straight forward. As we crowd out the chest, push harder into the ball of each big toe. Hold on this for a couple seconds. As you release your next breath, keep the ball of big toe pushing to the earth as you rise back up. Hello again, everybody. Nice. Now, arms sweep to the sky. Big inhale. Powerful exhale. Fold. Hands walk forward as we step our right foot forward. We are in a lunge-like position. We're on the toes of our back foot, and we're flat on the front foot. I've bookended my front leg. I'm going to hold on this, and we're going to figure out how to get there. Now, this is a position where some of us have the flexibility, and if it's not there today, you can always take the back knee, the left knee in this case, and drop it to the earth. That's an option. Now, if it's possible, I'd like you to walk your front foot forward so that the ankle is slightly forward of the knee. See if you can achieve that, and if you can't, just give me your best version of it. And we're going to hold on this for a couple seconds before we start working progressions. Now, a word on progression. Progression is a move that intensifies, and if you, in the progressive state, find it pushes too far, we can always just stay where we are. There's that permission from ourselves given. All right, now take the right arm, reach it out directly beside the bottom. So we have our right shoulder pocketed on that right thigh, maybe the right knee. We're holding on this for a couple seconds. We're just keeping that arm elevated before we lower it back down. And then we're going to bring it back up, and we're just going to hold. And you can kind of get an idea of muscle recruitment in those side body muscles by simply just lifting the arm. And we're going to add into this. So the next progression is to take the shoulder, right shoulder, and rotate it up to the sky. And now hopefully along the left side of the body, you're going to feel more intensification of the kinetic change of the side body, keeping the rotation effort. Realize this simply longing the spine, longing the neck, and rotating the shoulder. And then coming back down, and then switch up sides. So sweep that right leg back, step the left leg forward, scoot that ankle forward, off the knee, on the knee, whatever your preference is. And we're going to hold here for a couple seconds as our bodies begin to enjoy the experience of lengthening. This is mostly for the right side. Holding on this, breathing, enjoying, thinking about how good this feels. And then we're going to take our left arm and raise it up shoulder height. And then lower back down. And then raise back up. And we begin to experience that muscle recruitment of those side body, left side muscles. Coming back down. And now, progression time, if we're ready. Arm sweeps up, shoulder rotates to the sky.
We're gonna hold on this for a couple breaths, just like we did on the other side. Holding, longing the spine, keeping that neck long also, and then sweeping down and stepping back that left foot into plank pose. Pull your hips up and back to down dog. Drive those heels into the earth. Float it back to plank. Hold for a second, and then lower the knees and draw your hips back, child's pose. Hands are gonna walk forward, holding on this. Now in child's pose, there's a number of ways to proceed with this. A lot of us go into spinal flexion of that upper or thoracic spine. And now I'm gonna ask you to kind of reverse that a little bit. We're gonna work spinal extension. So I'd like you to proud out the chest in the child's pose position, making sure we're not compressing or adding compressive force into the neck. I want you to relax through the neck, grow the spine, grow the neck, walk the fingers forward, keep the chest nice and proud. Hold for a couple breaths. As you release your next breath, let's set the hands in and then scoot the legs back and lower your upper body down onto the floor. In our prone position, I'd like you to take your feet and step them out to the corners of the mat, at least that width apart. Now, tuck your toes under and straighten out the legs. So you feel a little bit of weight bearing into the toes. Enjoy that nice stretch through the bottom part of the foot. With hands now, we're going to position them right about shoulder width apart, a little wider actually. And we're going to keep the nose floating above our mat. So the side face is not on the mat. Head is elevated, nose is above the floor. So we're not forehead into the mat or anything else crazy. We're just holding on this. Yes, I'm talking just to kill time. That's my strategy. Take a big breath in. Now we're going to begin to lift the back of the head a little higher to the sky, and that recruitment should feel it kind of along the spinal column. Just take your shoulders and pull them towards the sky. Again, decompression through the neck, muscle activation for the upper back is what we're trying to achieve. So holding on this for a couple more breaths. And then finally, relax it down. Let your forehead or side of face find its spot on the mat. Let's take your arms and step them backwards. Palms are going to open to the sky. And just hang out for a couple of breaths. All right, break time is over. Let's take your head, lift it from the earth, and turn your nose into the mat. Now, the majority of us are going to be experiencing inward rotation of the shoulders. So I'm going to take a different position here. I'm going to take my palms and turn them on to the mat. So my thumbs aim out and away from the body, and I'm going to lift my shoulders up off the earth. And as I do so, I'm going to practice spinal extension and neck extension with shoulder external rotation. I'm going to pull the shoulders high to the sky. I'm not bending elbows. I'm making the arms long, and I'm trying to really engage and recruit the muscles of the upper back to help elevate the shoulders. I'd like you to work on this for a couple more breaths. And as you release your next breath, step your hands back underneath the shoulders and use your arms to help push up and onto all fours. So step it around, whatever you need to do to get into all fours in a wide stance. So we're going to bring knees, feet, and hands edges of mat. We're going to keep the spinal column nice and long. As we rotate internally the elbows, let's make sure we have just a slight break in them. And we're going to lower down in between the arms and raise back up and lower down and raise back up as we floss these muscles that are involved with shoulder location and stabilization. I can do so nice and slowly and holding in the up position. So our shoulders right now are forward. They're the anterior part of our body, not directly on the sides. So we have that nice elongation through the neck. I'd like you to hollow out the belly and give me some spinal flexion of that upper spine. Feel that nice length through that whole body. Now, similar to what we did before, I'm going to ask you to drift your hips backwards and a little lower towards the heels, but find the area where you feel like, oh, this is like really good. And this is kind of what our bodies perceive as normal. So when we sit, matter of fact, each second of the day, our brain imprints, our bodies do. So this feels relatively normal because this is how we normally sit. So we're going to kind of reverse this because it's not desirable for best posture. Let's shift back forward and let's get abnormal. Let's get abnormal here. Now, spine long, neck long, hollowing out the belly. We're going to float the knees. And we have a nice integrity of muscle engagement with the spinal column and neck. So I'd like you to hold this as we let the torso drop down in between the arms, spiral those elbows internally, holding on this. Now, pelvic tucking. I'd like you to take the pubis and try to tuck it up and into the belly button. And then pull the hips upward and backward. And as we drift to down dog, I'd like the heels to drive to the earth, and then walk your hands back to your body. Inhale, extend to a flat back. Exhale, pull. Inhale, Pilates style. Stack the vertebrae. Sweep the arms to the sky. Salute the sun. Hello, sun. How you doing today? Pull high to the sky. Exhale. Let it all relax. All right, let's come down onto the mat. It's mat time. Let's go meet our friend, Matt. Oh my goodness.
Water, cheers.
Cheers. Water break, H2O. Sustenance for life. All right. On our mats, we're going to come down onto our back sides. We're going to work on some hip mobility exercises and some stretches. Therapy-wise, a lot of times people that undergo stretching and stretch and stretch and stretch, and stretching is good. It's an important part of therapy. However, treating the condition, very important also. Developing the muscle strength, which is neuromuscular facilitation. So what we're going to do is we're going to start in figure 4 position, put our right foot on our left thigh, and we're going to bring that left shin so it runs parallel, or our version of it, to our mat. There's about a 90-degree bend in that left leg, and we're simply going to hold on this as we do a little bit of pelvic rocking. So like the shin is running parallel to the floor, so I don't know how.
Well, which shin?
The left shin is parallel.
Okay, well, you didn't say that.
Sorry, someone's misunderstanding the cue. Just
Yeah.
now, pelvic rocking, forward and back. I'd like you to kind of rock back so we can get that low back skin connected to the mat, and then keep the angles roughly the same. 90 degrees in that left leg with that left shin running parallel to the earth. All right, now, as you hold on this, I'd like you to take the right leg and begin to push against that left leg. And hold for a couple seconds, and then lower down and switch up. So, as I was saying earlier, the same setup for the opposite side is basically left foot on that right thigh. The right shin elevates, so the right shin runs parallel to the earth. And there's a 90-degree bend in that right leg and hip in particular. As we hold on this, what becomes the progression here is the right leg now pushing on the left. And relax that. I want to just do a little bit of pelvic rocking on this side also. So rock the pelvis forward and back and get that low back skin connected to the mat. And now let's go back to that push. I forgot to do that. We just added it in. And relax it all the way down. Extend the legs all the way straight. Take your hands above the head and stretch out the body. Pull opposite directions. And then Pilates style, come all the way back up. As we sit it up into a dive where the hands run through.
You should back yourself up.
Often misconceived as one of the only therapies is just stretching. And what happens is we rise back up, bring hands over heart in the staff pose, is that we focus on one activity and not really the rehabilitation process. So lengthening what's short is part of what stretching does for us, but strengthening what's weak is what we also work on in class here today too, is re-engaging the neuromuscular facilitation and also strengthening the muscle. So how much nerves are fired to tell the muscle to work and how strong the muscle are is also part of the therapy process. So let's take our palms, push them together, and if we create that chest or pectoralis activation, we're going to hold on that in the spinal column, keeping nice and long. We're going to draw the shoulders back, proud of the chest. And we're basically adding steps on this, so none of it prior stuff is compromised as we now tie an imaginary string to the top of the head and pull it to the sky. Nice. Now, relax the arms, let them descend beside the body, walk them backwards, and then we create chest expansion. Imagine the arms are walking at about a 45-degree angle behind you. So if we had 4 quadrants, the 2 back quadrants, your arms are just walking away 45 degrees, holding on this. I have my fingertips on the earth, and my hands cupped, and my chest proud, and my spine long. And I also have a good attitude about it too. Just throwing them in there. Now, take a big breath in. As you exhale, walk those hands forward, walk them on the outside of the legs, and let the upper body flex and fold down. And step the hands over top of the toes if they're accessible. Towels are also an option here if that's not available. Just do something as close to what I'm asking against. Now, I'd like you to pull the tops of the feet towards the body. And as you do so, I'd like you to make that spinal column of yours nice and long. So we're not seated, we're in an inclined position with the chest proudly out as we speak, and making sure the neck is also elongating. Keep that internal rotation of the feet. Now use the feet to push out against the hands, and let's use the lats to pull those feet back in. So we're going to exercising those muscles that allow us to do shoulder stabilization. And those lats should be nice and strongly active as we pull back. There we go. A little bit of shaking going on. It's always good. Now hold back, relax the hands, come back into the staff pose. Point the toes now. Sit nice and tall. Beautiful. Take a big breath as you bring hands over hearts. Lean back slightly. So it's not a flex backwards, it's a spine long, open up through the hips. As we engage those hip flexors, we're going to hold on this. And then we're going to go back to Pilates with a roll down, vertebrae by vertebrae, descent back to the earth. Point the toes. Extend the arms backwards, pull along the upper body with the hands, and pull along the lower body with the feet. Take a big breath in, and as you exhale, come back up to seated and dive all the way down. This time, take your hands and wrap around the heels of the foot. Let's begin to form extension of the spine.
and pull with the arms. So we're trying to pull those heels in towards as we grow the spinal column. Take a big inhale and powerful exhale. Use the arms, bend through the elbows, help to pull down that upper body. Try to keep your spinal column long. Tension free through the neck. Take a big inhale, and as you exhale, relax the pull of the hands. Step your hands to the outside of the heels, so your forearms and shins kind of run parallel together. On the next breath, as you release it, let the upper body flex downward. Walk the hands back in, come back into staff pose. And position the hands, the heels on the sides of the hips. Now, inward rotation, what I'm doing right now. External rotation, I'm talking of the shoulders. I'd like you to kind of crowd out the chest and keep those arms long. If you can, push the heels of the hand into the earth as you grow the spinal column. And if they're too short to get there, that's all right. Don't round internally to get the hands down. More important is just practicing this external rotation of the shoulders with either the palms on the ground or palms off the ground. And hold for another breath. And as you release it, Pilates style, take it back down onto the mat. Just take your left foot and step it in towards your left butt cheek. Now, as you hold on this, we're going to take the left outside of the foot and use it like a hinge point and allow that left leg to open up. And then we're going to draw the leg back up and in and let it sweep across the midline and then open and close a couple of times. So it's just hip mobility is all we're working on. And the hinge point is really the outside of that left foot. And then the inside of the left foot as we move the leg across. But try to make the movement not jerky, nice and smooth. Let's switch up to the opposite side. Left leg extends out. Start with the opening. So this is really a predictive exercise or a diagnostic type of exercise. And what it kind of allows you to do is see dominance of muscle relative to internal and external movement of the hip joint. And how do you know that's an imbalance? Because it's kind of jerky. So if you're able to do it smoothly, it's a good way to practice what I was referring to before as neuromuscular facilitation, making sure we're firing off just enough signaling so that the muscles can function better together. It's just kind of practice, if you will. All right, come back up. Both legs shoot out straight. Toes both point. Pilates style, we're going to come back up. All the way up. Oh my goodness. Has someone been doing that work? I don't know. Maybe they have. Sweep it down, extend it all the way up. Take a couple breaths. As we come back up this time, let's take our legs and sweep them all the way back and come up onto all fours. We're going to take our right leg, we're going to step it forward on the outside of our right hand. So we're going to hold on this. Now, if you need cushioning for your knee, your left knee, please, add it in right now if you need it. And
Where's the left knee? Under the hip or
it
behind?
doesn't matter, anywhere you want to put it.
Okay.
It's on the ground, anywhere you want to put it. So the right foot is down and it's by the right hand. And we're going to walk that right foot forward to the right knee. And as you do so, I'd like you to kind of garner some signaling that may be coming off that right hip. Does it feel like the inside or the backside or the outside of that hip joint is feeling a nice stretch? And if it's the inside, we're going to work that a little bit by simply trying to pull that left leg into the right arm.
The right leg. into-
Right leg into right arm. Want to do this, class?
No, I was correcting.
Yeah, thanks for not correcting me in the middle of class. Okay, keep that pull in there. I'd like you to take your left hand and extend it forward. So we have that internal rotation effort by the right leg into the right arm, and the left arm has extended forward. Let's push the hips forward slightly, pull with the arm to create that. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, let's return it back. Step back the right leg, step forward the left. Left leg, left arm. We're going to make sure the left ankle is pushed slightly forward of that left leg as we keep the spine long. We're going to grow this. Now we're going to begin to activate. Take the left leg, push it in. That left arm, creating enough resistance where we can hold in this spinal columns long. I'm going to shift forward the hips slightly and extend forward the right arm. Pull the arm long, keep that internal rotation active as best you can. Take that right arm back down, step the leg back, switch up sides. Same exercise, opposite side. The degree that that left knee goes backwards in this case is all relative to strength and experience. Right now, as we begin to step that right heel forward to that right knee, I'd like you to initiate that internal effort of the right leg into that right arm, creating that nice activation as we take the left arm and extend it forward, keeping stable as best we can. Pull along the arm with the fingers and return and switch up sides. Step the foot forward, rotate internally, grow the spinal column. Keep that effort of trying to push that left leg into that left arm as you extend right arm forward. Pull it long. Enjoy that lengthening effort. Ooh. Big inhale. Exhale, come down, step the leg back. Come onto all fours. Let's flex the spinal column as we do cat-cow. Reversing cats. Reversing cow. And do a couple more repetitions. You can float this forward, back, side to side, whatever floats your boat. As we give a couple more reps, coming back to neutral spine, hips pull up, back to down dog, ride the heels to the earth as you walk the hands back towards the feet. Find the balance of weight bearing, front to back in the foot as you inhale, extend. Keep the ball of each big toe pushing to the mat as you lengthen through both legs. Powerful exhale, let the upper body fold. Powerful inhale, unfold. Salute the sun, big breath up. Hold up as we let the right arm descend to the right hip. Pull high to the sky, that left side. Take the left hip and push it sideward. So try not to bend through the legs. Let's keep the legs nice and straight for the time being. Switch it up to the opposite side. Nice lateral lengthening, pulling high. Ooh, get that nice, effective stretch. Come back now. Opposite side goes up. This time around, as we reach to the sky, we're going to bend and push to the side. So we have that nice external side body pull and come back up. We transition over to the opposite side. Knees bend, right hand reaching to the sky, right hip pushing out and coming back up and lowering down the hands onto the hips. Push through that chest, lengthen through that spinal column, draw those elbows back together. Take a big breath in, let the chin drop to the chest on the exhale. As you inhale, raise it back up. Sweep back up the arms to salute the sun one last time. Let the hands drop back over hearts, and let me say thank you for joining us today. Namaste.
Namaste.
Yeah.
You're cueing. Left, right. There's Sue outside in the sun.